Hey guys, today's Sunday, February the 26th of 2023, and I want to go over the metals market. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So this is the monthly chart. As you can see, we're getting a pullback on gold. Took out the low of last month. Silver is probably a little worse. Platinum, sorry. Copper is probably the strongest one. It hasn't really taken out the low, so it's an inside monthly bar. Palladium has taken out this low and is hovering around this low of 13 and change. We look at the weekly here. You can see the move a little more, defined. And copper hovering around last week's low, a little lower, but palladium still pushing lower. I'm thinking maybe the dollar is doing something to the metals market. Once we put this high that week right here, things just started, turning. But copper's still kind of holding. So copper is pretty much the strongest one. All the rest are pretty much selling off. And we're going to probably do a video, if I can, today of the dollar and just kind of see what's going on with the dollar. So we'll start off with our gold chart. But before I do that, I'm just going to open up the dollar real quick, just kind of give you a glance. I'm going to do a separate video. So over here, I'm guessing there's two options here. I know the program says this is a wave 5 right here. So if it's a wave 5, then in theory, it should be an A, B, and then C going down. And this is your A, if this is a wave 5, right? I'm leaning this is a wave 3, even though the program thinks we hit a top. I'm thinking this is a wave 3 and that we just did a wave 4. And now we're going to do a wave 5. So if my, leaning is right, and I got to look at the cycles and everything else to see if this is all lining up and, creating clusters. But if this is a wave 4, then the 5 is going to test that high right here and it's going to even go higher. So that's going to bring pressure on the gold market. But if this is the wave 5 and the program is right and I'm wrong, and most of the times I'm wrong and sometimes I'm right, and I admit that. If this is an A and we're working on a B somewhere, this is a trend line that I'm watching. Even if we get all the way to 110, or even if we get to 113, and create a B somewhere, then a C will follow if this is a wave 5. So those are the things I'm going to be talking about if I get to do a video on the dollar. So with that little preview, then you have to look at gold. If it's a wave 4 working on a wave 5, then that might probably be more down pressure to the metals. And that's also another theory is that, I remember Katusa, he said one time that gold and silver will go up gold, the metals and the dollar will go up together. I don't know, that was a while back, so there's sometimes where there's correlations where they're in sync and most of the time they're against each other. So they're inverted. So let's see, we'll see how it plays out. But I just wanted to put that as a side note, just to kind of get an idea. Because if you look at the dollar, when it spiked low, that spike low that it did, and then it just bounced right here, that lines up with that spike high. So it just makes sense. On top of that it was resistance up here. You were hitting the linear regression channel. You're at the value area high in 1941. So, there's a lot of things that just kind of, glued together. But on the monthly chart, the key level point of control is 1782. So that's the level you want to watch. You got the 20 that you haven't kissed it on the monthly. And there's a lot of support down here, the 50 and the value area low of 1705. Still positive on the monthly. You can see that the linear regression channels are going sideways. So it's just pretty much chop fest on the monthly. It's not really breaking out, but then it's not really breaking down. It's just kind of there. So it's more like, let me get in, I'll get out here. I'll buy it here so I could get out here, that kind of game. It's not like you're going to want to ride the trend. So the trend players are getting frustrated here because they're just getting chopped. Follow the trend or the turtle system. Over here, you got the linear regression channel. You're already at the point of control and you're below it, 1833. Key level was 1848. Fail that. Now you're in the cloud. It's going to get a little crazy. And over here, there's a lot of support. You got the 20, the 50, and the 100 simple moving averages all right here clustered. If this doesn't hold, you got this inner regression channel here, and this is where I would call it the ultimate, entry point when it gets down there. Meaning that might be a failed new low, and then it might go up. So it might want to be like an A, B, C kind of thing. So we'll see how that's going to play out. But so far, it's lost the point of control. But let's see how this week, if we can hold all these moving averages, the 20, the 50, and the 100 right here. And if we can't, this would be a level to watch somewhere around 1761 and all the way down here. MACD is already telling you, it's negative. Don't be buying anything yet if you're kind of more of a midterm, long-term trader. Volume has been negative for the last, a couple of weeks. And you can see that even though the candle is white, it's kind of like still in trend, but the Hakanashi is telling you, yeah, be careful. There could be more downside. On the daily, you can see it already. Could be probably, support. You got the 100 SMA, the 200 value area low, and you got point of control on the daily chart within 3 months, 1808. And you're already in the cloud, and the future in the cloud is already starting to look negative. MACD is negative and kind of gave a buy signal, but when you have a kind of like this crossover like that, and it's at the bottom, the weekly is more stronger. It's kind of telling you that the trend is still down. So any little positiveness is kind of entry to like go short, and that's kind of the same thing here. Like a pop, but then it's gonna, short. So you wait for like a turning point. Maybe it'll go and test the 50 or the 20, and then once it takes the low of that candle, it'll probably do another leg lower. I think that's it for gold. I'm going to move on to the next one. Copper. Copper is the strongest one. It's holding pretty well. Look at the monthly candle. Let's clean that out. Monthly candle is strong. It kind of has a hockey stick, but it hasn't really like, I call these hockey sticks where it kind of goes like that and then goes like that. But price action is still holding and it's still positive. And even though, what is that, 39.96, somewhere around here, it's below the 200, but there's a lot of support down here, but it never really regained the point of control, which is at 443, which is that right here. But it's still strong. Candle's white. And you're hovering around this key level, which is $4.08, and just chopping around the value area high, which is resistance. And you got the 50 and the 20 here, and you're smack in the middle in a regression channel. So yeah, so if this doesn't hold and try to close above there and try to push higher, then it could sink in, kind of the same thing as gold. This would be a level. This would be another level, point of control, which is at 355. This is negative, so that's not good. Volume was negative last week. 2 weeks ago was pretty strong. But the trend is still up. You're in the mobile band, so it's just kind of noisy right here. It's a lot of noise. This is when it was good, when it was above the mobile band, hit the value area high, and then just kind of in the noise. This is all the noise. Once you break out of the noise, the 50 and the 20, then it starts getting a little more concerning, meaning that the bears are getting more control. But you got the point of control right here, value area low. So, You got to wait for it to at least close. This is a key level, 408. If it closes above there, then it has a fighting chance to go higher, maybe retest that 503. But the deeper it gets in, the bearish it starts getting on the midterm, mid time frame. Daily, you can see same thing. Kind of try to regain, or at least test the 435, and now it failed, and you're below the 50. And this is a key level right here, 395. If that holds in conjunction with the 50 and the 20 of the weekly, that could be good because then it could rebound here. But if that doesn't, then your linear regression channel right here will be another next level support, which would be somewhere around 387 if we ever get down there. And it's negative here on the daily. Sentiment is pretty high at 71, market sentiment. So yeah, so I will wait for maybe if it pushes more, the dollar's pumping. But so far this one is holding pretty good. That's copper. Palladium. Palladium is interesting. Palladium, I did some weekly cycle analysis and I'm looking over my notes. There's a 324 that hits a trough. So that weekly cycle bottoms around July. So that's still negative. There's a 240, which bottomed out on December 27th. So that's positive. And then there is the 165, which bottomed out in July of 25th, hit a bottom around July 25th, hit a bottom, a trough. So you have two that bottom and one that is going to bottom out in July. So it looks like that the 240 and the 165 is not working out on the weekly. So the next one will be the 324, and that bottoms out in July. So could there be more downside? Yeah, there could be more downside. Looking at the daily, we bottomed out using the 304 cycle February the 1st, which is somewhere around here. And that cycle now has been going up. But you know what? Price action is still pushing lower. And that's why when I did that video, that maybe there could be a possible little bounce or a retrace. But that hasn't played out. So that cycle didn't work out. And then there's the 175 on the daily cycle that bottoms out March. March the 2nd. So it's the first week of March. So that one is very close. What I would do is kind of wait till like the first week of March and see what happens with price action. If we start, getting, some volume, first of all, volume growing, everything kind of, turning around the first week of March. What's the first week of March? Somewhere around here. If this area we start, let's say they may want to even push even lower. And somewhere around the first week of March, it just kind of goes sideways. And then some volume comes in and it pulls back and it starts doing that kind of stuff. Maybe that's going to work out. But the weekly hasn't bottomed out if it's going to follow the 324. So those are the kind of things, kind of looking at it. Seasonality, March was pretty much supposedly a strong month, but that didn't play it out either. If you look at March right here, we didn't have anything going up like that, to test these point of control and everything. It's just been pushing even lower. So there is a lot of weakness in Palladium. So with that being said, I probably might do a separate video. But I want to cover the dollar because the dollar is going to give us some clues of what's really going to be probably playing out in the next couple of months. So Palladium is like very bearish. First of all, the cloud is already telling you it's getting really ugly. There's a linear regression channel down here, and we're almost about to kiss it. It could kiss it, and it could bounce, but you're in a down cycle. So if you want to play the contrarian, just be careful. It's going to be short-lived because it could, even push even lower. I mean, this is the monthly, so it's going to take a while. But everything is negative here. The volume, everything is negative, and you're dancing around the 100 SMA. The next support, besides this linear regression channel, is this 200, which is at 966 if we ever get down there. So that's kind of where people will probably want to, get at least a little exposure at the 200. but it's not looking good. On the weekly, you're below value area low. Everything is negative, and market sentiment, it's hovering around 20. So it's very, no one really likes Palladium. That's what it's just telling you. And you got some support right here around 1247. The R3 S3, so 1 2, yeah, S3 right here, and it could still push lower. And on the daily, you already went through a lot of these pivots, and you got some weekly ones here, 1247 and 1332. So yeah, this could push even lower. You're at the market sentiment at 14. So nothing is positive here. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday was negative. The only positive day was the 21st, which was a Tuesday, and then it just went straight down. So I wouldn't be thinking about buying it yet. Just looking at the cycles. If you're short, probably just stay short. What is this? Platinum. Platinum is the same thing, but lost point of control of 968, and you already lost the 954, which is a key level. And you're somewhere around here, but in the mobile band. But MACD already telling you on the monthly, yeah, things are getting really ugly. So if it's going to push lower, next level will be 885, and value area low will be 819. On the weekly, this will probably be, if you want to, we got to look at the cycles and everything, but this could be an entry point right here if this holds value area low of 881. But you're below the moving averages. Everything is pointing down. Nothing's positive here. Volume has been negative for like the last couple of weeks, ever since January 9th. So looking at the daily chart, you can see also that you failed the 200 SMA. You got a PPS sell signal. And it'd be interesting to see if this is a fail new low, meaning that it went up, it went down, but never really, it kissed it and pushed even lower, but it could be a head fake and maybe go up. But, that's just all speculation. The MACD hasn't turned negative yet, so something to keep an eye on. But yeah, it could continue pushing even lower. Short term, you're below the cloud. You're out of the cloud on the mid time frame, and you haven't gone out of the cloud on the monthly. So those are the things you gotta keep an eye on platinum. And last one is silver. Silver, it's on the monthly, kind of at support, with the 50 SMA. This is a key level right here. $20 and $21. If that doesn't hold, the value area low is 20. So pretty much the 20 level. You got the 200 SMA, 1996 here. And it's just noise on the monthly. Although it looks like it want to cross over there, but we'll see. On the weekly, PPS sell signal, you are below the 20 and the 200. So gold is like in this area, and let's see if that holds. But silver already failed everything here, 50, the 200, and it's somewhere around 2087, around there, and you're already out of the cloud. So it's not looking too good. So if this doesn't hold, this would be an area of support. So it could continue pushing even lower. Value point of control is 1928. Linear regression channel right there holding you. But that means on the weekly, you're below all the moving averages. And everything is negative. And it's been negative. Volume has been negative pretty much since the second week of January. And on the daily, it's just, you could tell the linear regression channel is pointing down. So any little pops, the strategy is to short it and it'll continue pushing lower. Keeping in mind what's going on with the dollar. So you have to look at both of that. Look at both those two instruments together. and see what's going on. You're somewhere around the 200 SMA, or maybe even below it. Yep, below the 200 SMA. So it looks like that hasn't been support. But next week, you never know. It may bounce right back up. So the game plan would be if it does regain above the 200 and close, let's see how far is it going to go before the bears come and pounce again and even push it lower. I think that's it. I don't want to make this video too long, but my next video will be on the dollar and kind of gauge what's really going on. So this is more. I call this the simple glance chart. I used to do the weekly and the daily, but I like to now include the monthly. And there's I started out with just the MACD indicator on 2 time frames, and now these are like my favorite time indicators. Volume, the MACD, and I added market sentiment because I've been reading some blogs on that, and I'm testing it to see how this works within the system. But that's it. Hopefully you like this video. My next video will be on the dollar, and maybe I'll pick one instrument of interest. Out of the energy sector, nat gas is probably the best play as I see right now, playing out. So I want to do a video on nat gas, and also regards to the metals, there's not really anything interesting play besides that copper's holding well, compared to everybody else. But the next important one will be the dollar. And then Nifty 50, it's kind of getting weaker. The daily cycle is pretty much, putting some restrictions on it. So those are the couple of things I'm thinking on the top of my head to see what's playing out. Natty gas, energy, key market to watch. Everything else is just kind of just chopped sideways, undecided. Copper's holding, and everything now is selling off besides copper. And then the dollar. What's happening with the dollar? Why is everybody piling in? Is it going to retest the high? Is it going to, push above the highs? And or it's going to be an ABC correction, and then everybody else is going to go higher except the dollar. So those are the things on my mind as of right now. So hopefully enjoy your Sunday, and I'll do maybe a couple of more videos before I enjoy church and enjoy the family.